the Maps 101 Texas 9th grade World Geography training. My name is Terry Karamaris. I'm the Customer Account Specialist here at Maps 101. And I'd like to thank you all for taking the next 45 minutes or so to highlight the depth and breadth of Maps 101. Today my goal is to provide you with a solid overview of the broad and in-depth content that is available to you in Maps 101 and how you can navigate through the material at your fingertips. Along the way, it will be apparent how the content will support TEKS and the cross-curricular benefits to Maps 101. We'll go ahead and get started. This is the Maps 101 homepage, and we will first talk about the 4 easy ways to find content on Maps 101. Then we will go through and take a look at the sections making up the content of the Maps 101 online resource. And then finally, at the end, we'll come back to the home page and I will show you how you can review further on your own or learn more. So let's go ahead and get started. And the first easy way to search for content is to browse by subject. And you can click on one of the 5 subject areas here in the Browse by Subject box. I will go ahead and click on Geography, and what we'll see come up is a quick grouping of materials by subject. You can see that we have Introduction to Maps and Map Skills. We have maps and lessons geared toward different grade levels. As you scroll down, we see some National Geographic maps and videos and different types of map projections. I'd like to point out that what you see in a category is not indicative of everything to find within that category. Again, it's just a quick way that we have grouped materials for you by subject. So now I'm at the top of the page and I want to go back to the Maps 101 homepage, and the way that I can do that, there's a couple of ways. Of course, you can click here where it says homepage, or click anywhere from the resource onto the green and white Maps 101 logo, and you will always go back to the homepage. The second way to search for content is to search by keyword. And right above the Browse by Subject box, you can enter a keyword. I want to search for some maps of Africa in World War II. So what I want to do to return the most results is to keep my search as broad as possible. So I'm just going to type in Africa and hit search. And we will see our results come up in just a second here. And we see that we have 674 results returned for Africa. And those 674 results are broken down here by the green tabs: 4 interactive maps, 475 results in our Global Perspective section, 61 in National Geographic. You'll see that the green tabs correspond to the content sections of Maps 101 listed here on the left side. And remember, we're looking for maps of Africa in World War II. We'll probably find content here in the map collections where we have 69 results. And you'll see here we've got some history maps. That's probably where we're going to find our results. We can click to view all 27 items in this category. So that's how you can search by keyword. I'll go back to the Maps 101 homepage now, and let's take a look at the third way to find content, and that is to search by location. To the left of your Browse by Subject box, you'll see the Earth View search box. This is also sometimes called Maps 101 Explorer. Earth View is a recent enhancement to Maps 101, allowing you to search for content by location using Microsoft Bing's satellite imagery. If you have not used Earth View on your computers or access Bing, you may be prompted to download Microsoft Silverlight. That is a light 30-second plugin. It is similar to Flash, which you are probably familiar with. And that's what allows you to drill down to a specific area to search content. And there's a couple of ways that we can search using the Earth View search, but I do need to let you know that when I demonstrate Earth View using our webinar training program, there is a slight conflict and you may see some flickering. I want to assure you that this is only when I'm doing the demonstration, and when you're viewing this in your classrooms, on your smart boards, or on your own computers, there is no flickering, and it's a very quick search. So let's go ahead and search for that same result. We're looking for maps of Africa in World War II, and in our search box we're going to type in Africa, and click Go. And depending on your browser, you'll open up a new tab or a new window, and you'll see that we will be right over the continent of Africa. Here we are, and here's our 674 search results returned. And as we look through the list, here's the world history maps. That's probably where we'll find those maps. We can click the title to expand that. And so here is a map called World War II and the Balkans in North Africa. That's probably a good map for what we're looking for. Let's click on the title, and we'll see a little window open up. We have a thumbnail of the map. It tells us it's a world history map, and we have two options. On the left, I can click to go directly to the resource and open it up in a new window and take a look at the map. Or on the right, I can click where it says Save this link, and during my browsing session, I can save links here on the right side of the search box and go back and take a look at them later on. So now I'm looking for some more maps. I'm scrolling down here, and perhaps we can look at this map, World War II European Theater. I'll click on it. I can save it. Now I have a couple of world history maps of Africa in World War II that I can take a look at and decide which one I want to use in my lesson. So let me go ahead and just clear out of this box. And again, that was the first way to use the EarthView search. Just type in a location and search through the results for what you need. But there's a second way that you can use the EarthView search, and you can either click on Go to bring up a map of the world, or type in a specific location. And I'm going to go ahead and choose New Orleans, Louisiana, and click Go. And again, our window, our new tab opens up. We're right over in New Orleans. We have some search results returned, but I'm actually going to go ahead and close out of that, because what I want to do is use my controls, which are here in the upper left-hand corner. And looks like we've got that flickering going on right now. So what we can actually do is drill down, and the controls are located up here. And we're actually going to go ahead and get down to street level. In New Orleans. We might be talking about Hurricane Katrina, and we know, of course, that the city was devastated a few years ago, and we can use EarthView search to help us teach the lesson. Here is the Superdome, which was the shelter of last resort for so many people. And over here, we can go ahead and take a look at the French Quarter. This area was not really affected, but over here we have the lower 9th Ward, and this was one of the areas that suffered a lot of devastation. We can talk about how did these folks get over from that area to the Superdome. It's a great way to, it's a great complement to our static community maps. You can even drill down to ground level, landforms, mountains, lakes. You can access various terrain and drill down deeper for towns, communities, neighborhoods, and houses, as you see here. So we'll go ahead and close out of this window, and that is the third way to search for content, is to use the EarthView search. And finally, the fourth way to search for content on Maps 101 is by your state standards. Right above the Browse by Subject box, click on State Standards, and we have listed the state standards and correlated our maps and lessons to the TEKS. So we're going to go ahead and choose Texas, and click Go. And what you will see here is a list of grade levels that you can choose. Go ahead and choose 9 through 12 World Geography. And here you'll see a list of the standard codes, the strand, a description, and the Maps 101 correlation. So I'm going to scroll down and choose 43.6, Geography. The student understands the types, patterns, and processes of settlement. Let's take a look at the results for the standard code. And you can see here that we have several results returned. We have some geography skill builders. We have classroom activities. As you scroll down, we see that we have some introduction to maps and map projections, as well as some lesson plans. And I'm going to go ahead and show you the lesson plan for urban sprawl. We can see here that it's for grades 9 through 12. It is ranked good for the standard. I can click here to take a look at the expectation level, 43.6A, and also any cross-curricular applications are given down here to you at the bottom. So clicking on the lesson plan takes us right to the lesson. We can see how it is set up. All of our lesson plans are set up the same way. We start with the introduction, the time frame. This one takes 3 to 4 class periods. You're first given the objectives of the lesson, followed by the National Social Studies and Geography standards. We then have a list of maps and materials needed with links to take you right to those maps that you need. If any supplemental resources are used, this lesson does give you additional map resources. You've also got a link to take you there. You have the extensions. The procedure for the lesson is outlined for you, assessment suggestions, and then finally, many of our lessons do include a student handout for students to answer questions about the lesson, and I'll just scroll down here so you can take a look at the student handout. And as I go back up to the top of the page, I would like to point out you can print a PDF of the lesson plan. Just click the icon in the upper right-hand corner. So let's go back to the Maps 101 homepage and remind you that the 4 ways to find content on Maps 101, you can browse by subject, by keyword, by location, or by state standard. So now you know how to find content on Maps 101. Let's go ahead and take a look at the content available to you. We have National Geographic, map collections, interactive maps, Spanish language, reference atlas, global perspective, K through 3 maps, classroom resources, and finally, learn and play. And let's begin at the top with National Geographic. A couple of years ago, we formed a digital content alliance with the National Geographic Society, which gives our teachers and students access to even more outline maps, bringing our total count to around 1,000. Maps 101 includes National Geographic archive maps, Earth Pulse, and over 500 National Geographic videos ranging from 1 to 9 minutes in length. So the content for National Geographic gives our subscribers the benefits of 2 resources housed under one umbrella. Let's go ahead and click on the magazine map archive. I'm sure that you are familiar with that yellow border National Geographic magazine. You might have had a subscription at home, and if you recall, in the magazine you would often get included a poster-sized pull-out map. At Maps 101, we have over 100 years worth of those maps archived, dating back to 1891. The maps are unique to Maps 101, and as far as we know, you cannot find them digitized or online anywhere else. And there's a couple of ways to search for content. On the left, we've grouped the maps for you by date, and on the right, the same maps are categorized by area. Let's go ahead and click on a map of the world, and we can see in alphabetical order a list of maps of the world from different regions and areas of Earth. And the map that I'd like to take a look at today is called the Earth Dynamic Crust. And so we can go ahead and take a look at this map, open it up, read more information about the map down at the bottom. It's a little bit difficult to read because, remember, it was a poster. But as I hover my mouse over the top right corner, I can click on the green button that says Zoom, and we can open up a map in the new window and zoom in at a very high resolution. We call this our Zoomify feature. And so here we have a map showing plate tectonics, lots of information about the Earth's tectonic plates over the years, the progression, and lots more information down here at the bottom. And one of the great things that you can do with these National Geographic maps is you can actually print a portion of the map that you might want to put on a bulletin board or on a display. So what you'll want to do is use your controls down here to size the window that you want to print on your screen, and then click on the print button in the lower left-hand corner. What is on your screen will print from your printer. So I'm going to go back and use my breadcrumbs to go back to the National Geographic section, home section. And I mentioned earlier we have over 500 video shorts, again, each one from 1 to 9 minutes long. And there are a couple of ways to search for video content on Maps 101. We can click a location on the map to get a list of videos supporting that specific region. You can take a look down here. I'll go ahead and reset the map. Or you can choose from one of our 5 categories, and those are civilizations and history, culture and society, science and nature, wildlife, and Spanish language videos. If we are studying how people live in their environment, we might want to search for a video to support that lesson or to launch discussion. So I will go ahead and go to Culture and Society, look for a video that might support what I'm teaching that day in the classroom. You'll see that the default view is Thumbnails by Alpha. We'll always have our featured videos listed on top. On the right, click to view the results as text. And as we scroll down through the list of videos, we have a video entitled High Altitude Peoples. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. As the video comes up, we see that the running time is 3 minutes. Our Google Locator map shows us where in the world is this video. The description, human beings, I'm just going to go ahead and mute the sound here. Human beings have colonized every corner of planet Earth, spreading from temperate zones to the polar regions, arid deserts, and high mountains. Now scientists are asking how humans originally conquered the heights and investigating whether human bodies are as adaptable as human technology. We can take our mouse and use the control to put the video in full screen mode and either press the escape key on your computer's keyboard or with your mouse go back and click on that control to restore it back to the default view. You can scroll down and see a list of related videos and a list of related maps and lessons underneath the video that's currently playing. And I'm just going to go ahead and fast forward to the end of the video and show you our Maps 101 fast facts. Did you know that altitude sickness is a result of lack of oxygen to the tissue in the body, and it gives us some of the symptoms? And our next fact tells us that Tibetans can live up to 16,000 feet above sea level, and altitude sickness typically occurs above 8,000 feet. We've got about 3 to 5 fast facts for each of our videos, and you can see that the combination of the text, the visuals, the sound, the locator maps, and the fast facts create a wonderful environment for your students to develop their independent learning skills. Okay, let's go back to the National Geographic section, and I would like to demonstrate Earth Pulse for you. Earth Pulse is a visual guide to exploring global trends. We can look at population, ecosystems, globalization, technology, and several other trends. Today we're going to, for purposes of our demonstration, take a look at population. Let's click on that, and the animation will come up. And we'll see here a portion of Tokyo, that's the world's largest megacity, and we learn that for the first time in history, half of all humans live in cities while the pace of urbanization continues to increase. So let's click first on population density, and we see that 6.6 billion people inhabit planet Earth. There are 21 megacities home to more than 10 million residents each. The megacities are the green dots here. You can actually click on one of them, or click on all of them. I'll click on Mexico City to see indeed how densely populated it is. You can navigate here using the controls, even get your point of interest. Our map key shows us the population per square mile and square kilometer. Also, you can use the magnifier to take a closer look at these cities. Let's go ahead and go to the cities. And we can see population increase from 1955 to 2005. We can see in 1955 population Mexico City, New York, Cairo, Karachi, Tokyo. In 50 years, we can see that some of the cities have really increased in their population. For example, Mexico City by almost 16 million, Tokyo more than doubled their population. And in 2015, we can see that some of the cities' populations continue to increase, while others, such as New York and Tokyo, remain relatively the same. So we can work with population figures for the world. In a little bit, I'll show you how you can work with the latest population figures in the United States. And then finally, one last section I'd like to briefly show in National Geographic is our 9th edition atlas. This is a recent addition to Maps 101, including a great list of current political and physical maps of regions, countries, different states, even the Milky Way and the solar system. So let's just take a quick look at a physical map of North America. This is a map from 2011. You can zoomify it for a closer look. We'll move on next to our map collections, and really this is the heart and soul of Maps 101, and here's where you'll find thousands of maps. Our broad range of maps includes antique maps, we have earth science maps, history maps, physical atlases for Texas, we also have a California atlas, Western civilization maps, and many, many more. I'd like to go to our outline map sets. We've got close to 1,000 of these, and they are accessed frequently throughout the grade levels. And in this section, I'm going to show you how you can work with a map. You can print it, email it, download it to your computer, or even further customize any of our maps. So let's go ahead to the outline maps with shaded relief, and I will click on a map of the United States. I've got a couple of maps here, a map of the U.S. with text and one without text. Let me click the map with text to take a look at it in a new tab, and I will say that this is the map I'd like to use in my lesson. And here is what I can do with the map. I can click here to print up a PDF of the map to hand out to the students. All of our PDFs are pre-formatted to print on 8.5 by 11 paper. I can click here to email the map. It says to a teacher at your school, but really it can be to any Maps 101 user. I would like to point out that you are not emailing an actual attachment, but rather a link that the recipient will need to log into Maps 101 with their username and password to access. All of our maps, videos, and lessons have unique URLs. You can click here to download the image to your computer, and you could put that in a PowerPoint or embed it in your lesson. Your license to Maps 101 allows you to store the image on your computer throughout the duration of your subscription. That way, if you have a map that you frequently access, store it on your machine, and you don't need to get online to pull up the map. And then finally, our latest feature to work with a map is MapSketch. And MapSketch allows you to customize any of the maps in our map collections, with the exception of those National Geographic maps that we looked at earlier. And you can use different colors, text, different graphics, and we'll go ahead and customize this map of the United States in just a little bit. So perhaps I want to circle the name of the United States, and I might want to put a star in my state, and I'm going to use an arrow to point to the state of Texas. And let me go ahead and entitle my Texas map. And I'm not very good at this, so bear with me. So here we have a map that we've customized, and now I have the option to save this as an image. I can print it, I can download it, or email it. Our MapSketch tool is compatible with a wide range of tablet devices, including the iPad. You do need to have a very current or up-to-date browser in order to use MapSketch. And we'll work a little bit more with MapSketch when we take a look at some of our history maps later on. So now we know what we can do with a map. Let's go back to the map collections and take a look at some of the maps available to you in Maps 101. We have a selection of earth science maps. Maps 101 is not just for history and social studies. Here is a list of maps with environmental and physical data. You'll see some of the maps have the little yellow border National Geographic icon. Let's take a look at the World Tectonic Plate map. And we can zoom in, and this is a really beautiful map. We'll use our controls to zoom in at a high resolution. And here is information on the North American plate. Lots of activity here on the west coast of North America. And here is a map key showing us tectonic features and geologic events. Going back to map collections, we'll take a look at our history maps. And you can see that we have our history maps broken out by U.S., world, and Canadian history. We also have separate categories for the U.S. presidential election map and the presidential election map comparisons. Our U.S. history maps, you will see, are arranged chronologically, starting with the possible migrations of the first Americans. We have our colonial and revolutionary times to follow. Here is the first presidential election map starting in 1789, and we have maps for each election up until the last one. And we go on through westward expansion and the Texas Revolution, moving on to the Civil War and the two world wars with the Depression in between. and finally the post-Cold War era, just to quickly go through U.S. history as told by maps. We can take a look at a map here. Let's take a look at improved transportation in the United States from New York City from 1800 to 1857. We can see that in 1800 it took a long time to travel just a little bit in the United States, and then just about 50 years later, with the advent of new technologies and methods of transportation, people could move around at a much quicker pace. And that's just one of our U.S. history map sets for you. You'll find that our world history maps are also arranged chronologically, starting a little bit earlier, 4,500,000 BCE, with the spread of prehistoric hominids. We have our ancient societies and civilizations, followed by the age of exploration, and the Renaissance and Napoleon, and then of course to more modern times with the two world wars and the Cold War and the post-Cold War era. And we can take a look at a map showing immigration in the 19th century from 1800 to 1914. I like to show this map because I think it's a great way to show where people came from, where they went to, how they got there, and the various countries. And so this is just one of our world history maps for you. We'll move on to our interactive maps section, and these are maps featuring visual movement and sound effects to engage students and bring historical events to life. We can start our section here, the animated timeline maps, and let's go ahead and take a look at the history of religion. We can see 5,000 years of religion in 90 seconds. Let's go ahead and hit our play button. And we begin on the Indian subcontinent with the birth of Krishna. Our timeline tells us it's right around 3000 BCE. And as we move on to the Middle East with the birth of Abraham, and here's Judaism. Let's pause, talk about the conquest of Canaan, what was significant about this event, and then we can either play and continue on. I'm just going to go ahead and go quickly through this map so we can move on. And here is a very quick version of the history of religion, showing the different religions and the areas covered up to modern day. We also have interactive history maps. You'll see we again have broken these down by U.S. and world history. In our United States history, they're arranged chronologically. We can take a look at industry and agriculture in the North and South. What was happening in 1860 right before the Civil War? Well, we were growing cotton, corn and wheat, dairy, cattle and hay, sugar, rice, and tobacco. And we can click here to see where textile mills were cropping up, especially in the Northeast, other manufacturing facilities, and finally, we even have the details of the slave revolt. To clear the map, go ahead and click right back on the same tabs, and your map will be restored back to the default view. In our world history maps, again, arranged chronologically, we can go ahead and take a look at a map of Eurasia in the Silk Road, showing exploration. Let's click to see the land routes taken and also the sea routes that were taken. And then finally, let's take a look at a map showing the latest population figures in the U.S. We have an interactive census map, and we have taken the latest census data, the 2010 census data, and applied it to one of our Bing maps. And we can take a look at individual states. I'm going to go ahead and click on the United States. And so we can get started. Here we have our default view showing the United States population by county, and we can click a county for more information. I'm going to click this large county in California here, San Bernardino County. It's showing that in 2010 there were over 2 million people. We can see the breakdown by race in a list or in a pie chart. So you can actually click any county in the U.S. and take a look at the same figures. Also, we can take a look at the different races. Here, I'm going to choose Native American, and now we see the United States Native American population by county. And I might want to compare up to 4 places. I'm going to choose 2 places to compare. And so let's go ahead and pick our first location and we chose California. So here is our map showing California, and then we might want to compare California and Texas. So we can see that there are certain parts of California that have a higher percentage of Native American population than they do in Texas, and we might want to talk about why it's happening. You can get more information about how to work with this map. We have a video in our help section that gives a lot of information, more than we have time in our demonstration today. So this is a great map for your AP Human Geography classes, as well as when you're studying different populations and race topics within the United States. So we'll move on next to our Spanish language section. We have an entire section dedicated to Spanish language. We'll take a quick look at this section. The content was added because of requests from our subscribers. And we have some very basic maps in Spanish language. Let's take a look at the Continentes del Mundo. And we can see a basic map here showing the correct name, accenture, and of course location on the map. Next, we have translations of our Geography Skill Builders lessons. We'll take a closer look at those when we get to the Classroom Resources section. And also translations of our Geography in the News current event articles, which we'll find here in Global Perspective. Additionally, we have geographic glossaries in Spanish language. So I'm going to click on the advanced version. And here we see the term in Spanish with the definition. You can click here to get the English glossary, and then you can click back to go to the Spanish version. In addition, we have a selection of Spanish language National Geographic videos. This is great for ESL or ELL students, also for language arts students wishing to work on their auditory or listening skills. And then finally, we have some very basic K through 3 maps that were recently added in Spanish language. I will quickly show you my house, mi casa, and here we have a map of my room, Mom and Dad's room, the kitchen, and some of the other locations in my house. So just a quick look at our Spanish language section. Please pass this on to any of your colleagues that might find this useful. We'll move on to the Reference Atlas section, and at Maps 101, we offer you excuse me, an extensive and up-to-date world and U.S. reference atlas with a variety of tools. Each country and state offers you access to a physical map, a political map, a flag, and an extensive collection of statistics. So for purposes today, we'll take a look at China. From the World Atlas, I have clicked on Asia, and I will now choose China. That'll bring up a political map of China. Here we have a physical map of China. We can bring up the flag of China. And then finally, let's take a look at some statistics. And you can see that the categories range from introduction, going all the way to government, economy, communications, all the way to transnational issues. And you can read down here for information about the country, click to get more information. The statistics for the countries come from the CIA World Factbook. These are updated on a regular basis by our webmaster. For the individual states, the statistics are culled from about 5 different sources and also get updated frequently by the webmaster. I would like to point out that the Reference Atlas has a lot of great additional features. One of them is a guide to country comparisons, where we have taken categories in the area of geography, people of society, economy, communications, transportation, and military, and we've listed them by rank order. So we were talking about China. We've been talking a little bit about population today. We might want to find out where does China stand in relation to the rest of the world. We know they have a lot of people. So let's, from our Guide to Country Comparisons in the Reference Atlas, click on Population. And as this comes up, we see that as of July 2012, China is the most populous country in the world with just over 1.3 billion people, closely followed by India, 1.2 billion. The U.S. is third with about 1/4 of the number of people in China and India. So this is a great place for your students to get current information. It is a safe place to browse. There is no inappropriate content, no pop-up ads, and of course no spam resulting from your search. Additionally, I'd like to point out that we have a list of appendices available for you with lots of geographic and scientific data. Please check these out on your own at a later time. Lots of information here. We will move on to the Global Perspective section, and this section allows students to learn about world events from a geographic perspective. We have our special content areas housed here in Global Perspectives: Black History Month, Earth Day and Earth Month information, Women's History Month. Additionally, a couple sections I'd like to focus on in Global Perspectives. The first one is Geography in the News. This is a series of full-text articles accompanied by a custom map. The articles have been written and produced for over 22 years by Dr. Neil Lineback. Dr. Lineback is a renowned geographer and educator. He is Professor Emeritus at Appalachian State University. He is now assisted in the Geography in the News articles by his daughter, Mandy Lineback, who's a geographer in her own right. Geography in the News is very popular with students and teachers, and as you read through the articles, you'll see why. It's because Dr. Lineback has such a great way of tying together history, geography, and culture to show how geography can influence world events. So we will take a look at the current article from the week of July 6, 2012. It's called Migration from Mexico Declines. And we'll start off with our custom graphic. We have a new graphic created each week for the Geography in the News articles. Then we can read through the articles, which normally run about a page to a page and a half in length. At the bottom of the article, Dr. Lineback has added questions for extended learning. This supports critical thinking, brings rigor to your classroom. We've also supplemented the articles with our own content. We have here classroom activities, additional related Geography in the News articles, some maps, videos, and other resources. And of course, you can print a color or black and white PDF of the article, email a link to the article, download the graphic to your computer, or work with the map sketch tool on this graphic here. I'd like to point out that also you can get the article in Spanish. I'll just click here to show the Spanish version of the article along with the extended learning questions in Spanish. Let's go back to our English version. And at the top of the Geography in the News section, I'd like to point out that we have an archive feature for Geography in the News where you can access over 650 articles archived. It's very easy to search for an article either chronologically or by keyword. And for example, if we might be studying some events in the world, lots of information in the news about tsunamis with the different earthquakes and happenings in the world. We might want to learn about tsunamis. So I'm going to go ahead and type in tsunami in the search area, and we can see several articles come up. The most recent article from April 2012 is available for you in English and Spanish, and the oldest article from 1998 is listed at the bottom. You can also search the Spanish section for articles in Spanish using the Spanish archives for Geography in the News. We'll go back to the Global Perspective section, and let's take a look at the Map of the Week. This is a fun section. Each Monday, our geographic artist, Scott Davis, brings you a new Map of the Week, maps tying current and historical events to the lay of the land. Kind of a very timely map. This one is called Hot and Dry, 5 states with the most acres burned by wildland fires 2012. Hot and dry conditions have helped fuel intense fires in Colorado recently, and as of June 17th, New Mexico has had the most acres burned. Why do these 5 states have the most acres burned? Learn how you can help prevent wildfires this week. These maps are really designed for discussion in the classroom. The questions are open-ended. There's not really any one right answer. And we can go back to the Map of the Week archive section and take a look at some of the titles available here. That's a pretty serious map, but we do have some kind of fun maps. Here's a map called iced tea, a map called hot peppers. It's kind of a fun way to start your week, get discussion going, talk about some maps and maybe some current events. We will skip over our K through 3 map section and go right into the classroom resources section. And as I mentioned earlier, we have over 200 lessons and activities here for you. We have full lesson plans available to support subjects across the curricula and to make teaching as easy as possible for teachers. In our lesson plan section, it's very easy to search for a lesson either by grade level, subject, or world region. We earlier accessed the lesson plan section through the state standards, but you could go into the classroom resources section and click right on lesson plans to get to this section. So let's go ahead and go to grades 9 through 12, and we can pull up the entire list of lesson plans available for you, and you can take a look at these lesson plans. We also, in classroom resources, offer you our classroom activities. These are shorter projects organized by grade level. And let's go to grade 9 through 12 and take a look at some of the classroom activities that are available. Let's take a look at congressional campaign issues. And this one asks you to have your students use their state thematic map to find out which congressional district they're in, and then have them look at some of the other state thematic maps, such as ethnic distributions and land use, and ask them to think about the issues that a candidate for Congress in their district might be concerned with. Have them compare their ideas with an actual candidate's statements and positions in a recent campaign. Did the candidate express concern with the issues that might be of interest to ethnic groups or industries in that district? So that's just one of the many classroom activities that we offer you here in the classroom resources section. Let's move on to our geography skill builders section, and this is an excellent way to introduce geography-centric historical events and assess students on their comprehension of the text and visuals. You can choose from U.S. Or world geography. I'll go ahead and click on world geography, and let's go ahead and click on let me show you first of all that these are arranged chronologically by themes. We start at the beginning of civilization, go all the way down to perspectives of the present. Full paragraphs on a subject are supported with a map or illustration to offer questions to determine the understanding of the subject at hand. So let's pick deforestation in Brazil. And so here we have our text, we have the graphics, and finally we have questions for the students to answer about the text and the visual. And I mentioned earlier you can get this in Spanish. You can click here to get the Spanish version. In our Understanding Geography Activities section, these are activities designed to support existing social studies curricula. You can choose from level 3, level 4, level 5. Level 5 is just a little bit, has a little bit more detail. We'll go ahead and choose level 5 regions, activity 14. These are PDFs. Click the Get PDF icon to open this up in a new tab. And we're talking about regions. We have our keywords that are bolded. Geographic regions are shown here. Questions for the students to answer. Great way to review or supplement what you're teaching in the classroom with lots of photos. Talking about vegetation regions with questions to answer, and even cultural regions. And finally, at the end, you'll find some review questions and an activity to try it yourself. So finally, let's go down to our Learn and Play section. This section contains educational games and quizzes at the K through 12 level, provides a fun and engaging way to review and reinforce the subjects that we're teaching in the classroom. Some primary level teachers actually like to use these games as a reward for students that complete their work early or receive high scores. So let's take a look and see what's available. We have some crosswords for you. We have Earth Month and Women's History crosswords. We have the GeoQuiz game show, which is a fun map-based interactive learning game where you're game show host, George, asks you questions that you'll answer by clicking on a map. Let's play this just real quickly here. Let's get started and have some fun. Our categories are world statistics. It asks us, that tells us that this country has the largest population in the world. I think I might remember that China might have that. Let's see if that's the right answer. And if I get the right answer, lots of applause and 100 points. All of the answers to the questions of the GeoQuiz game show can be found here in the Maps 101 reference atlas. We have a couple of drag and drop games to reinforce locations of the U.S. states and U.S. state capitals. A couple of games aimed at the younger learner, Uncle Sam's Farm and Aliens. We have jigsaw puzzles of various degrees of difficulty, geography crosswords that are easy and advanced geographic terms, as well as a crossword that you can either play online or print out for the students. Map kits allow your students to be junior cartographers. We have word search puzzles with easy and advanced versions of geographic word searches. Flash world quizzes, which can range from pretty easy, the Flash continents quiz, to very challenging, especially when you have to name countries in Africa and monsoon Asia. So let's go back to the Maps 101 homepage. We've covered a lot of material in just a little bit of time, and I promised you earlier that I would show you a couple of ways that you can learn more on your own. So there's a couple of ways that we can do that. Above, right next to your state standards tab and above the search keyword search area, you can click on our help tab, and you can read the Maps 101 user guide. Gives you more information about the content and features available here in the different sections of Maps 101. You can refresh how to download a map, how to pull up a National Geographic video. Any troubleshooting information you might need is also available here in the Maps 101 user guide. I'll go back to the home page, and if you would prefer to view a video, general training video, you can go down to our subscriber resources section located at the bottom right corner and take a look at our webinar training video. This is the general video, about 40 minutes long, a presentation similar to this one. It does take a little bit of time to load. It is quite a large file, but certainly if you prefer to view a video, that is available for you. So this concludes our review of Maps 101. I hope you will leave with a solid understanding of the breadth and depth of instructional content in Maps 101 and really how easy it is to navigate. Please feel free to contact us at Maps 101 with any questions you may have. You may email us at maps101@maps.com. That's maps101@maps.com. Or phone us at 877-627-7101. Thank you so much for your time, and we look forward to speaking with you soon.